How's it going, everybody? It's Frisby Moonsong here. Yow! And as you can see today, we have our Swordsoul 10U deck list that we have been working on, I guess. And it won 2 OTS championships. Recently, we've played in a couple of OTS championships. We only managed to play in 3 of them, even though there were 4. And we managed to win 2 of them, being able to knock out things like Kashtira, being able to play against like things like Labyrinth, and even in the 2 weeks before, it has been winning locals. So it is doing really, really well, really strong deck. I'm really proud of it. Without further ado, I think we get straight into the deck list because a lot of people kind of know what this deck does already by now. And yeah, thank you to Pranesh for giving me these awesome, as you can see, these really cool Swordsoul tokens, one for each Swordsoul monster. Really awesome stuff over here. We have the Moi one, which is really cool. So let us go for the main deck. We have the 3 Ecclesia. As usual, this is like the standard of 3 Ecclesia. You know, you start off with that. The 3 Moi as well, along with the token. We have the 3 Long Yuan, the 2 Taya. This is the standard ratio that everyone's been running for the longest of times, and you stick to that. I don't think there's much more to say. I think going second, you side out 1 Moi, and going first, you side out 1 Ecclesia. That's at least my opinion. But other than that, main deck, you always try to max out on your consistency. Then for the 10Es, I maxed out on everything, playing 3 Ashuna, 3 Vishuddha, 3 Adara, and then the 1 Shtana. I just thought being able to have worms in your hand, even if you don't play hand traps, usually this deck can just play through like almost any board going second, and this ratio is really strong. And I know a lot of people are playing the other one, the one that protects your non-effect monsters from being targeted, but I think Shtana is still amazingly like one of the best out of all of them. But yeah, at least for the level 4s. And then for the hand traps, we are playing 3 Ash and 2 Vela for the monster hand traps. Ash is still doing really good. Vela is also still doing like really decent as well. It hits like, even as strong as Imperm is, Vela is still as strong because it does kind of the same thing if you're going second. And also, people who are playing crossouts usually don't have a Vela target, so Vela has been doing like a lot of damage at the moment. And then for the spells, we're playing 3 Emergence and a Summit. I know some people don't play Summit, but Summit has actually been pulling back games for me, because a lot of the time is this deck doesn't really set up a good strong going first board, but it's the clapback that makes it really strong. And especially in times of top decking, Summit is just the most insane card to top deck, and it's so good in general. So it's a card that I've been playing constantly, and it's been doing well for me. Then we have the 2 Circle, 2 Desires, and 2 Talents. Circle is really strong just for playing through Imperm and Vela and all those kinds of things, and it gives you searches. It's just makes it so much more consistent. Also, the nice thing about Circle is you can summon a Tenyi baiting out like a Fenrir effect, and then you can chain Circle to dodge it, or you can even chain Circle to like dodge a Merge Aid and they have to banish their own card kind of thing. So it's really strong. Then we have the 2 Pot of Desires as usual for consistency, and then the Triple Tactics talent has actually been doing wonders. Like every time I've seen it in the games that I've played, I've liked it. I mean, even going first, a lot of the time you're getting hand trapped, but even if you don't, when it comes back to the turnaround, it's really strong. Especially going second, it's insanely good. So I've loved it in the main deck. And then for the traps, we're playing 3 Imperm and 1 Blackout, which is really cool. Obviously, Blackout really being strong, and Imperm probably being one of the most insane hand traps in the game right now, especially with Forbidden Lance being a thing that stops it. So it's really good. A lot of the times when playing against things like Kashtira, I noticed that I ended up saving the Imperm for either I would hit like early on the Unicorn or Fenrir, depending on how I felt, but usually now you save it for the Diabolosis so they cannot zone lock you, or you save it in your turn for their Arise Heart, and then you should be fine to be able to play through their board. Now going into the extra deck, we obviously have the Swordsoul token over here, the long one. We have 2 Monk and a Shaman. I know a lot of people are playing 3 monk, but I feel like if you know how to play the deck well and you are able to conserve your stuff, you can play 2 monk and get away with it. I mean, there has been like 1 or 2 times where monk has come up, but that's like in the past like 4 weeks. So honestly, I haven't really had a problem with that considering how many games I've played. Then we have the Swordsoul package. We got the Chengying, Qixing, and 2 Jishao. I think that's obvious and standard. Then we have the Yangzing package, still 1 Yazi, 2 Baxia, and we're still playing the Chaofeng now because Nibiru is coming back. Nibiru is doing things, so Chaofeng is really good just for stopping that. And also sometimes you can just end on it and you can pop it with like Blackout to get the tuner, either being the Ecclesia or being like an Ash to stop a branded fusion or something. Then we have 1 Berserker of the Tenny. Of course, you still play this. Really, really good. Good for the OTK. Good for trying to kill this thing. People underestimate how actually strong this thing is. Then you play the Baron de Fleur, because Baron de Fleur is just like one of the best level 10 synchros at the moment in the game. Then we played the Ice Jade Gamir. I never actually summoned this in any of the OTSs. I did use it in a regionals once, but the OTSs, it didn't really like do anything. If anything had to come out next, I could probably take this out, but it still like served a good purpose. And then we played the 1 Crimson Blader. This was for like if you didn't have too much to OTK, this literally would skip your opponent's next turn, because like anything like Branded or Swordsoul or even Kashtera, they just can't summon their monsters, and it stops normal or special summoning, so it's just really, really good in general for that. So there we have that for the extra deck, and that wraps it up at 15 in the extra deck and 40 in the main. And then we have the side deck with obviously the last token, the Tire token. And for the monsters, we have the Gamma package, which is actually really insane. Like Gamma plus a hand trap usually like stops any player from building a board except for Branded because they use spells. But still, like this is really, really good and served me really, really well. Then we played 2 Lancia. I think I would love to bump this up to 3. But yeah, I think I just need to find space for it. I got to figure out how the hell to bump this up to 3, because every time I saw it, I liked it, but it sucks drawing multiple. That's the only thing. Then for the spells, we played 2 Dark Ruler No More, because, you know, sometimes people make unbreakable boards and you need to stop that. The 2 Triple Tactics Talents, and the 1 Harpies Feather Duster, and 1 Change of Heart. The talents is obviously like you side them in with this stuff, and let's go for the 1 trap and the evenly match, because you literally play talents to be like extra. I mean, not the talents, the thrust, sorry. Thrust is basically like an extra search for these. So by playing the thrust, it's like you playing 3 of these or 3 of these or 3 of these. But also opening thrust with any of these, you're not like opening multiples of the same card, so you can search for like something else. And also in this deck, it's really good because you can search talents, you can search desires, you can search summit, emergence, or even blackout, and or even imperm, and all of them are just like really good search options in this deck. So thrust is actually a really good option for a side deck in this deck, so it's really, really strong. And even so, I know we don't have a lot of back row hate, but with Swordsoul on its own, having Blackout and then still having the Harpies, Feather Duster, and the evenly matched and something to search it with, and then also having Vishuddha, you have a lot of outs to back row decks, so you don't have too much of a problem, and it deals really well with them. Then for the last 2 cards, we played 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance. I know like a lot of people are throwing in 3, but when I used to play 3, I used to see multiples of it, and it kind of like slowed down my hand a lot. And usually with the draw power you're getting, and especially with Apple Dragon coming soon, you can get a lot of draw power. So I feel like this is like really, really good. Just in general, I know a lot of people are playing Dimensional Barrier, but Dimensional Barrier only works against like a Synchro deck or against Branded. But it doesn't do anything, apologize for that, it doesn't do anything against Kashtera, because even if you go D-Barrier against Kashtera, it only stops the XZ summons, but they still have like Fenrir and Unicorn and Ogre, and those things are like big bodies with interruptions, so it's really, really strong. So yeah, that's the deck list we have for you. I hope you guys enjoy and are able to do really cool things with it. I will let you know if there are any changes. I will post any changes up. We had some really good matchups. We mostly faced Kashtera, and there was a lot of times where we even won like going second against them. and losing both die rolls and 2-0ing. We've faced a whole bunch of decks. We've faced even Plunder Patrol, which you've seen is doing the things. I think the only meta deck that I did not face with this was Sprite. So I don't know this thing's Sprite matchup yet, but I'm pretty sure based on what I have, especially in the side deck, it can match up to it. I know a lot of people are wondering like, oh, why don't you play Nib? Nib is insane in this format, and so is the Eclipse. Yeah, they're really, really good. And I agree, I could possibly play like Eclipse, like maybe instead of Vela. But the only thing is that if they're going to do the full lock with Kashtira, you're not going to be able to play Eclipse anyway. So you might as well just try Vela, a Unicorn early or something like that. And also, Vela is a level 1 tuner, so that's really, really good as well. And Nib also prevents you from making your 10 plays, which helps you break boards anyway and helps for consistency anyway. And a lot of the time, like, even playing Nib, some people, especially like the smarter players, will play around Nib on the first turn, which is like really, really strong. Like a lot of people are even going like Arise, Hard Control, Pass, you know? So that's already insane. And if you face a trap deck like Nib is dead, like Nib is really good against like Kashtira, yes, and good against like these big combo decks. But I just feel like in something like this, like the fact that you're playing like such a high tenure count, I don't think it's as impactful as these like one-off hand traps and like gammas and stuff that you could be playing that still do decently well to break boards. So yeah, that's what we have. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are able to do amazing things. This deck has been treating me so well. Still a really good deck. Still have such a passion for it. Baxia, best card in the game. Bring back Danglong, although I don't think it will change much about this deck. And I guess we are looking forward to the Apple Dragon, and we'll see what comes of that. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. I know it's been a while since I've posted a video, but it's good to be posting again. A lot of things have fallen short lately, and I've started a lot of projects. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a fodder deck challenge, as I have said on my podcast, or on our podcast, Shadowcast. If you look in the description, you can go check it out on Spotify. We are going to be doing a fodder deck challenge where you look in your tins and you try and make something good out of it. So go check that out. And from me, Frisby Moonsong, we'll see you guys in the next video. And shout out to the Swordsoul Duelist group. Shout out to you guys. Cheers, guys. Yeah!